Coming up next on RaceSpotTV, it's Monday night at Skippys, the final round, live from Phillip Island. Join us in just a few minutes. Hello. Welcome back to Monday Night Skippys here on RaceSpotTV. We're live as always at 9 o'clock and we are here for round number 12. Final round of the season. And what a season it's been. We have had ups and we have had downs. And you know what, Connery? Monday Night Skippy is still proving to be the best thing on four wheels.
Yeah, it's one of the most frantic series that we broadcast in terms of the race, and I don't mean frantic in a bad way by any means either. It has been exciting action all the way throughout this season, and well, I believe we can crown a season champion, Rachel.
I believe we can, in fact, because Bill Fraser, regardless of whether he finishes tonight or not, he walks away with the championship tonight. So first time winner in Bill Fraser. The young man from Orkney wins his first championship here in Monday Night Skippys. He's locked in regardless. Drop weeks are counted. We've got the points there for you. It's pretty easy for him. Look at that. 319 versus 275 versus 234. That's Bill Fraser, Mark Mercer, Stuart Adcock, Tom Ward in 4th place, Peter Cowan in 5th, Ben Daniels for Humanides, Simon Edwards, Matt Cox and Anthony Catt. Unfortunately, old Mr. Thurston's dropped down to 14th. Drop weeks may count for him though. That could push him back up towards the top 10, Connery, but it's not going to be much higher than that.
Yeah, he's currently tied there with Rob Plumley there, so that's going to be potential position gain there. Maybe the position further ahead of Simon Maltby as well. Only 13 points behind him, so it's very possible that Thurston can improve his position here, but top 10 is going to be a little bit of a stretch in this sort of situation. He has to have a race of all races there if he's going to start where he is currently, provisionally P22 in qualifying.
Yeah, not a great one for them, but we've had some fantastic racing here at Phillip Island in the past, and I believe we have about 3 minutes left on the clock here for qualifying. They're out there doing their solo laps at the moment, and we'll find out exactly what they can pull off. Actually, they're not solo laps, they're group laps. This is one of those interesting tracks because you get a lot of side-to-side racing, you get a lot of bottlenecks here, and passing is kind of difficult. This is almost a VIR, but down under.
Yeah, it is, and well, you've got the sort of main passing opportunities. You've got on the run, the obvious run coming down in towards turn number 1, but since that apex of turn number 1 is so wide, it's such a wide sweeping corner, you can't really do anything on the brakes coming down into there. You can get yourself alongside, of course, but you can't complete passes that way, but that means you're side by side through a sweeping corner, then you've got another sweeping corner afterwards, turn number 2 as well, so that advantage switches quite easily when you get to turn number 2, so it's going to be a fairly interesting race. We've got passing opportunities in towards Honda corner as well, turn number 4 hairpin, which could be very interesting indeed for those slight dive bombs.
It could be, but you know, we've seen some shenanigans normally at these big 180-degree corners, and well, Siberia is one of those that has some fun. This large, sweeping left-hand 180 towards the midsection of the track. And, well, Lukey Heights also provides some sketchy opportunities, Connery. We've seen some guys go for it up there and, of course, sweep around the outside for the inside line as they drop down. But Phillip Island always produces fantastic racing, so looking forward to a good one tonight.
Yeah, we are, and well, talking about Lukey Heights, that turn number 10, turn number 11 complex coming towards the end of the lap is a downhill braking zone in towards turn number 10, which does catch quite a few drivers off guard coming down into there when they're trying to make the passes. We can expect people to perhaps overshoot their braking points there if they are attempting a pass and then get themselves onto the grass, onto the gravel as well. Speaking of onto the grass, onto the gravel, this first lap should be very interesting with those medium to high speed corners that I mentioned before.
It certainly should be, of course, and, well, the start-to-finish line here. We've got a good long run into the first corner, which is flat out for these cars off the starting grid, so the real first challenge comes at turn number 2. The big sweeping 180 left, just turning them onto the middle stretch here that goes alongside the coast, just above the cliffs. I've compared it in the past, and normally I compare the circuit or track Mons on Anglesey to being the Welsh version of Phillip Island, but we'll do it in reverse tonight. We're going to say Phillip Island is the upside down version of Anglesey.
Of course, you have commentated on a real-life 24-hour race there, so you know that track very well. I have to take your word for it. I haven't really seen much of the track on the Isle of Anglesey in North Wales, but, well, if it's anything like this, then the races there should be very interesting. So should this one, as the checker flag is out there on circuit, so the drivers have to complete their laps right now. They won't get any other opportunity. I'm just having a look at people who are on laps that can potentially improve their position. We've got Bill Fraser out there on circuit, currently P number 3, your series champion, in towards what's going to be Honda Corner turn number 4. Thing is, Rachel, he hasn't got a drafting partner.
He doesn't, and that's going to really hurt his... Well, we're going to go to commercial real briefly, so just give us a moment, folks. We'll be just back just before the grid. Well, welcome back, of course, from that one, and, well, that's the Audi R18 Quattro. The e-tron Quattro coming to iRacing tomorrow. Yeah, LMP1 comes tomorrow. Big exciting. Well, without further ado, we're going to go to your grid. Starting on pole position tonight, Clement Nides there on a 1:45.063. Fantastic lap from him. Bill Fraser in second place, championship winner. Ben Daniels, Clark Williams, and Jonathan Sheen in the 6th spot, with Robert Plumley, Raymond Norris, Matt Cox, and James McRitchie in P10. A qualifying high from him. As no, it's Adcock on pole. I wasn't scrolled to the top of the list. That is a faux pas on my part. So move all those places down 1. Simon Edwards, of course, 11th place there, with Kane Halliburton in 12th. Unusually slow laps from there. Anthony Jones, Ryan Walker, Simon Maltby in 15th place. Paul Thurston back in 16th, improvement from 22nd he had in qualifying. Good final lap. Anthony Capp, Peter Cowan, Chris Malcolm, and Nicholas Vaughan Roberts, with the rest of those results up on your screen. We're going to get ready for the start of this final round of the season. Let's hope I can keep my timing and scoring scrolled to the right place during the race. That'd be helpful. But as it stands, yes, Stuart Adcock on pole, 44.969 for him. So quite a considerable bit faster, a whole tenth faster, actually, 100th faster, I should say, than Female Skydays. Our 1 second bracket, of course, takes us to a 45.9, which is down at the, looking here, about 27th place. So not bad today, actually. That is quite a good grouping of times, Connery, so we'll see that during the race, of course, but that is a considerable number of drivers in the same speed bracket, indicating to us this could be a fairly well-balanced race.
Yeah, it's usually kind of what we expect to see, especially in open qualifying sessions as well, where everyone and their mother has the draft. As we see a jump start here by the 00, that's going to be a penalty, as we're going to be off just a couple seconds.
Green flag will fly, and the 00 does in fact get a jump start there. That will cost him a lot. And it's the usual slow start we get from the Skip Barbers here as they kick off down this long straight at Phillip Island into the first corner. Like I said, they'll be basically flat out through this one. No real challenge for them. A little bit too wide with Clark Williams there, and I believe that was Sheen next to him. Jumbling and sorting at the front, Adcock, Antonides, Fraser, Daniels, Williams. Plumley comes through actually there. Will make his way ahead of Sheen. Nicely done by Robert Plumley. Raymond Norris coming up there as well, getting himself involved in this one. That's the orange and blue 00. We know he's got a penalty, of course, Connery, for that jump start. So to number 5 here, and it's all through 3 wide there for a brief second as they sort themselves out. It's only a slight overlap. We won't really count it into Siberia now. Out wide goes Ben Daniels, makes a bit of a mistake there. Tried to make a move on Fraser. It actually cost him a run here. It could be an opportunity for Clark Williams. Driver currently back in the 5th spot. Can't find a way past Daniels though. Not a good passing opportunity, but up into Lukey Heights. Will he have a chance to push it wide, carry some speed, and take a brave opportunity? He carried a bit more speed in, but he balances out mid-corner. And so far, it's been a good, clean start to the lap, Connery.
Yeah, and Robert Plumley sensing the opportunity over Clark Williams. They do go side by side behind. This is James McRitchie and Raymond Norris as there's contact coming up towards turn number 11. That has the potential to be huge, but the thing is they've spun towards the inside of the grass, so it's not too much of an issue. Meanwhile, there's a bit of 3-wide action going on between the 99, the 6, and the 12 coming into the final couple of corners. Norris will bring that car down towards the lane to serve his penalty, and there's a huge wreck on the pit straight here. Plumley having major issues, tags a car. That's a huge incident for the power of Peter Cowan. Number 99 tumbling down the start-finish straight.
Oh, absolutely huge for him there. Cowan having a big moment. Plumley having one of those usual mistakes. We'll show a replay of that one there. Of course, McRitchie kind of came in on Norris earlier on, which caused our issue, but Plumley there got just past the rumble strips there, Connery, spun himself around, lost traction, and Cowan had nowhere to go but clip him, and he went sideways, hit a car, and over he goes. Huge incident there for him. Peter Cowan will be very dizzy after that one. It's been, well, we said a clean start to the first lap, and then everyone murders themselves at the end of lap 1.
Yeah, and actually Paul Thurston got himself caught in that, trying to avoid the incident. He then got clipped from behind by the car of Chris Malcolm, who was going pretty much full speed through that wreck, which isn't really advisable. But as a result of that one, Paul Thurston now down towards lane with significant damage to that car. He will get that fast repair, of course, but he did take the toe, so it'll be a little bit before he gets himself back out there.
Absolutely, and that Skippy from Peter Cowan, sorry. Last time I saw breakdancing like that, it was a DW12, which incidentally also gets replaced tomorrow with iRacing's rendition of the IR18, the brand new IndyCar coming to iRacing before the real-life season starts. This is how up-to-date iRacing is on IndyCar. We get it before the season. That is fantastic news. I'm looking forward to seeing that myself. But up front, Adcock, Antonides, Fraser, still your top 3. Clark Williams, Jonathan, Sheen was actually there. No, it's Ben Daniels, I should say. I do apologise. Behind him, Clark Williams got past him. Sheen is just behind leading the group with Cox and Edwards. Maltby is just a little bit further back from them with Kane Halliburton. Anthony Jones leading the next trio there with Anthony Catt, Ryan Walker, Nicholas Vaughan Roberts, and Nick Sigley. Your top 15 at the moment, Connery, and got a pass just up here. Anthony Catt going for something. Will the Cat get the cream? He's clear, so yes.
And Ryan G. Walker will also follow him through on that one, so using as a pick to get himself a position over Anthony Jones, and Jones is going to lose yet another position down towards the inside from Nicholas Vaughan-Roberts, and he might be under risk even from Nick Sigley from behind as well. So hemorrhaging time and a couple of positions in this first sector on this third lap for Anthony Jones. Let's hope he can get himself back into some sort of rhythm, as fighting ahead of him, potentially looking for a free wide is Nicholas Vaughan-Roberts, but not really brave enough to go for the move down in towards Honda, as Ryan Walker has to hang it around the outside. If he is successful, which he is, he'll have the inside for Siberia to try to defend.
Certainly will. Halliburton just got past Sheen on the run to Siberia, actually. Nicely executed move there by the 26 machine. That'll move him up to the 7th spot overall. Up front, our lead group has really broken apart somewhat here. We have Antonides and Adcock. And then you have a bit of a break back to Bill Fraser, Ben Daniels, and, of course, Clark Williams. So that front group just breaking apart slightly. Individual drivers just getting a slightly better run through these corners. They've not got much competition behind them, as that next group is another about 2 seconds back, Connery, led by Simon Edwards. Edwards having lost a bit of pace here, actually. He's been surprisingly fast this season, but for some reason tonight, just not with it perhaps, just off his usual pace. In fact, a number of these drivers we've seen in the list who are normally very quick, just not quite getting it tonight. But Maltby is one of our biggest movers so far, 15th up to 9th.
Yep, fantastic race for him so far, as actually Simon Edwards will lose this position coming down in towards turn number 1, but there's not really anything he can do about that one, since the draft is so powerful coming down the pit straight. As Sheen did clip the curb a little bit there coming through the apex of turn number 1, did push him towards the outside of the track. Little bit of contact between the two cars. Sheen has to push wide coming through turn number 2, advantage with Edwards on the exit of the corner, and here comes Kane Halliburton. Oh, that's close to banging wheels there on the exit of turn number 2. Halliburton will try to file his way through. The thing is, here comes Jonathan Sheen back around the outside.
Yeah, he does indeed. And Jonathan Sheen's going to try and hold this one in place, but it's not looking positive for him, actually. He's got a line choice right now, but behind him, Halliburton's looking still very aggressive through Siberia. We've seen a lot of more aggressive driving from, of course, the car of Kane Halliburton. Jonathan Sheen there, trying to make something towards Simon Edwards. Edwards really not got pace tonight. Like we mentioned, he's struggling somewhat, and he's doing not so great. As a bit of a nose look in there from Sheen, who wants to get away from Halliburton, actually, who now gets a bit of a run up to him on through Lukey Heights. Dipping down to the hairpin now, and it'll be just a nice simple procession through that corner as everyone just tries to make it through. What is one of the trickier corners on this track, Connery? It's downhill and a very aggressive braking zone.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult to get that corner right, at least the corner entry right, lap after lap after lap. Luckily for these drivers, they only have 12 laps to be dealing with here as they head their way out of the final turn here. Sheen will have the run over Edwards, and they'll swap these positions again. No, that was a late call there. Sheen actually has to back out of it and lose momentum, so they will take it side by side down in towards turn number 1. And let's just see what comes of this one. When will Kane Halliburton decide to make his move as well? It's hard racing coming through turn number 1. Edwards really not wanting to give up this opportunity. And in fact, he'll take a slide coming through turn number 2. And so will Kane Halliburton on the outside of the track a little bit further back. Start battling side by side with Maltby.
Yes, Maltby there getting a good advantage in that moment. And he's going to make himself wide as he can on the racetrack. Wants to get himself a little bit further here. Halliburton on the inside will drop back there, but dives at the inside as Edwards pushes wide there. Contact coming through turn number 5 there before Siberia. Just a little bit overzealous by Halliburton and a bit wide by Edwards, culminating a bit of a tap, but no one really loses anything apart from, of course, Jonathan Sheen there gets the break he wanted. Gets clear of everybody by quite a margin, leaving 4 of them behind him. But all this battling, Connery, the gap has now opened up to, looking at this now, about 3 seconds to cars in front. That's really cost them.
Yeah, it's looking more like 4.5 at this point, so it's really, really losing them time. But I think it's final race of the season. They want to be fighting for these positions as much as possible, and we never know what could happen to that lead pack as well. They have been jostling for position. Bill Fraser currently leading the train around, so he did gain 2 positions on that previous lap. Then it's going to be Adcock, Antonides, Clark Williams, and Ben Daniels will round out that leading quintuplet there right at the front of the field. They follow each other very closely coming through the final turn. Will we see 3 wide for the race lead? We will see 3 wide. Will we see 4 wides involving Clark Williams for the race lead? No, he's just going to stay behind for now. Adcock coming through the middle here, down in towards turn number 1. Bill Fraser on the inside, and there's the car of Antonides on the outside. So Adcock will take the race lead in this sort of situation, but Antonides still fighting hard with a championship winner.
Yeah, Antonides should hold the inside line through 2 here, as he just has the speed advantage on the inside line there. Fraser washing out there. You saw the car just a little bit loose. Clark Williams gets a run. That's one of the tricky parts of turn number 2. On the outside, the camber drops away, Connery. Bill Fraser had to deal with that. The car just wasn't as stable. It wanted to step out on him, and it cost him, as Antonides there trying to brake a little early, actually very early almost for Clark Williams, into turn 5. And the procession will return almost to qualifying order here. Actually, apart from Clark Williams being swapped with Ben. His top 5 have really been the masters of this race so far here on lap number 6, about halfway through this race when we get to the line. And our running order has almost not changed, despite the fact they've been racing very hard here. Jonathan Sheen has dropped back behind Simon Edwards. I was about to say Ben Edwards there. Nope, different person entirely. But here we go. Jonathan Sheen looks to his outside as they approach Lukey Heights. Can he hang it around the outside? No, he will drop back into line there. Not going to risk it for a biscuit on the outside line, but he had a look. No, Edwards just went a little bit wider to block any sort of attempt at a late break. Through the train will come, and Edwards, got a bit wobbly there, coming off the hairpin, Connery. Not the best momentum for him, of course. Halliburton here looking in on this too. We could see some real action here onto the front stretch.
Yeah, we could well see that, as Halliburton's going to go for the move over Jonathan Sheen. Will go for the move over this car of Simon Edwards as well. So 3 wide here yet again at Phillip Island as they make their way down towards turn number 1. The cars behind are catching Maltby and Matt Cox as well. 4 wide coming down into towards turn number 1 very, very briefly. Sheen will come out on top of that one. Maltby will gain himself a couple of positions as well, potentially, as Edwards has to push wide onto the dirt and onto the grass there. Gets it slowed down for turn number 2 and does, fortunately for him, hold position over Maltby as Maltby's being harassed by Halliburton.
Yeah, Halliburton has a better line on the inside there and will carry that momentum. Should be an advantage into the kink here for nice and easy through the corner. Once again, Sheen has managed to make a break ahead of this pack of cars, and look at this, Maltby going to break late and going to dive up the inside of Edwards. Oh, big bold move there by Simon Maltby, feeling emboldened by rapid pace today. Pace we've not seen from Simon Maltby in quite a while. He is absolutely dancing out there on the racetrack. That car moving around where it needs to, but taking a few little unnecessary risks like that moment there. That car gets well out of the way of this second pack in your field. Antonides at the sharp end with Adcock. Adcock leading the way here, of course. The pink wheels denoting him. Bill Fraser, Ben Daniels, Clark Williams. They're actually back in qualifying order now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That lead group as just back again with this next lot. We'll have a look back at these boys. They've been racing pretty hard. Sheen, Edwards, Maltby, Halliburton, and of course we've got back there Matt Cox at the rear of that group. Matt Cox has been very quiet here, Connery. He's just been loitering around, not particularly getting involved. The 2-bit racing game team just not really trying to. I think he might imagine they might be about to crash, as once again we go 2 wide, 2 deep.
Yep, we do. As we head that way down this front straight, it's actually 3 wide yet again. We'll go. I think there's decreasing excitement in these 3 wides. We need more 4 wides in this event to try and get ourselves excited about it. As Matt Cox, yeah, he's basically doing the Clark Williams strategy of staying behind a group of cars and then waiting to capitalize on any opportunities that may arise. As Edwards so loose coming out of turn number 2, so is Jonathan Sheen as well. Has to push wide, and Kane Halliburton now in a position to capitalize on this. He has the run coming up towards the turn number 4 corner of Honda. Potentially 3 wide down into here. Does that work? We will just have to see, as Maltby's going to perhaps back out of this one. He does follow his man very tightly, as there is a lap car off there. That's Chris Morris, will stay well out of the way. But the thing is, Sheen and Maltby are still battling.
Certainly, I looked for a moment there that car was going to get loose, Connery, and rejoin the racetrack, which would have had tragic consequences, as Matt Cox finally makes a move here on Maltby, actually. We'll go for the inside line as Maltby makes a mistake. He's been very patient so far. Does what he has to, but just ahead here. Edwards back to the front, and it's Keen Halliburton in that second position in this group. Of course, that does put him in the 7th spot overall in this race. Sheen back in 8th, and lead is side by side here into the final corner. It's Antonides with the advantage at the moment. Adcock gonna have a run here, will easily go for the outside line. Ben Daniels gonna have a go at getting involved here. Well, he sliced it to the middle. That's brave. Oh my god. I know you want to go 3 wide and you can easily, but oh, here we go. Let's just Bill Fraser with the chop job. Oh my gosh, Bill Fraser threading it like a needle round the battling trio and just takes the lead just like that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why Bill Fraser is this season's champion already. He has enough points to lock it in before this race. He can afford to make moves like that. That was probably the pass of this season, Connery.
Yeah, definitely contender for that one. 3 cars in the same corner, and Bill Fraser now still has to defend from Adcock in towards Honda here. Adcock will have the inside line, but he was tentative on the brakes.
Oh.
Fraser actually has to push wide, gets the back end out. Careful with rejoining here as Ben Daniels gets very, very close. So from 0 to 0 for Bill Fraser.
Oh, very close miss there for Bill Fraser, and everybody else being patient with that moment. Could have been disastrous if people had kept their foot in it and just ploughed into the situation, but, well, very sensibly raced by every single one of them, which is why those 5 are out front here with a gap of about 6 seconds to the next group with Kane Halliburton, of course. But, yeah, back almost in our order again here, as it's Adcock, your pole sitter, back out front. Fahim Antonides, Ben Daniels. Actually, no, it's not Ben Daniels, it's Clark Williams. Bill Fraser, Ben Daniels, your top 5.
Oh, Sheen's off.
Sheen has gone off.
Oh, down in towards turn number 11 as well. That is actually contact with Kane Halliburton there, and I think Sheen just pushed out a little bit too wide there coming off the top of Lukey Heights, and as a result he has some pretty heavy damage to that car. It's crabbing along the racetrack. In fact, Ryan G. Walker has been caught by this as well at the later stages, but here's a replay.
Yeah, replay up for you there as he just pushes wide at Lukey Heights and catches Halliburton, dumps him around and goes backwards down the hill, which is probably the worst experience at any racetrack other than going backwards down a Rouge. And he ends up collecting Ryan Walker, unfortunately, in the aftermath, because, of course, blind over that crest, Connery, for Ryan Walker. You couldn't have seen him until he was in the braking zone and was committed.
Yeah, exactly. The visibility is poor coming down into there, and well, that's sometimes the reason why we have yellow flags here. The local yellows would have been showing for that instant for the car spinning across the track, but still, it's a matter of reaction times in that sort of situation, and a matter of picking the direction you want to go in terms of avoiding the incident. But as a result, Ryan Walker with damage, Jonathan Sheen pretty much out of this event as he's down on towards the lane. As looking at the race lead right now, Fahim Antonides leading them off of Siberia corner, followed by Adcock, followed by Clark Williams and Bill Fraser. Ben Daniels still on the back of this train.
Well, in turn 5, it was actually too wide, too deep there, as they had a really good scuffle. In fact, Fahim got very loose on the exit of 5 there on the run to Siberia, and it nearly changed hands, but he managed to keep the car in one piece and stay ahead as they'll come up now through Lukey Heights, the scene of that reverse incident down into the hairpin. Oh, big dive by Ben Daniels on Bill Fraser. That was optimistic and well executed by Ben Daniels there. Very impressive move by him in the 027 car. Snatching a spot.
Edwards
you can
off.
do that, Connery. And Edwards, yeah, Edwards has gone off. Simon Edwards has run wide in the hairpin there. And it was contact with, oh, unfortunately, contact with Maltby. Goes up the inside, the braking zone, and they both slam into each other and come off the track. Oh, replay up for you there. Unfortunate end.
Yeah, Maltby did leave enough space on the inside for Edwards to go for the move, but Edwards he didn't get himself close enough to the curb to make any use of that space, and overcooked his entry a little bit, making contact with the car on the outside. And again, it's yet more couple of casualties that we've had in this race. So that has pretty much split up the entirety of your second pack. They're basically running in pairs at this point, so the lead pack is where it is at right now. Clark Williams and Fahim Antonides going side by side, potentially 3 wide up towards Honda. As contact behind with the championship winner, and Fraser down towards the, actually Ben Daniels down towards the inside, even with that little bit of contact he had with Fraser, and he actually will try to gain the position off of Clark Williams here. I think Fraser's damage is a little bit more significant though. Yeah,
Bill Fraser's off. Bill Fraser, that car is, I think, very damaged. He ran very wide through the hairpin there, and I think he has suspension trouble. Replay there for you of the contact. Oh my gosh, Bill Fraser there. That car is very wounded. He's dropped a huge amount of time trying to keep it in one piece. He really went slowly there. That car limping, Connery.
Yep, it is. So it's not the greatest way to go out at the final event as the championship winner, but it doesn't matter where he finishes because it's mathematically impossible for Mark Mercer to try and get himself up towards the York Championship winner. So that is basically going to be Bill Fraser's race pretty much done. As he does decide to bring it down towards lane. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a meatball flag. So the 5-car front pack turns into briefly two pairs of 2 as Antonides. This is the white flag lap. Antonides doesn't beat Stuart Adcock to the line there, so it's basically a coin flip whether you can get the good run out of the final corner to make that pass coming up towards the line.
Certainly will be. Here they are out of turn 1, I should say, into turn 2. Antonides leading here from Adcock, and we're going to have a very interesting end to this one. Ben Daniels has been optimistic. We know he can make passes here, Connery. Clark Williams has also been up at the front as well at 1 or 2 points, so this foursome could decide this one amongst themselves. Kane Halliburton, of course, they're racing with Matt Cox, who, after all the fighting said and done, Matt Cox is leading now in that group. He's ahead of Halliburton. Behind them is Sigley and Cat. Of course, he've moved up after Maltby's incident. Maltby's recovered and held on to 9th place, so fantastic result from him regardless. 15th to 9th for Maltby. If you can hang on to this, will be massive. Back as your leaders are side by side in Siberia corner. Up the inside goes Stuart Adcock, but holds to the outside. On the inside for the next sequence is Fahim Antonides. Can he grasp onto it? No, he drops back and lets it go there to Adcock. He's only going to have one more opportunity, and here comes an opportunist, Ben Daniels, who drops back in line. Up to Lukey Heights now, running out of corners. 1, 2, 3 corners to go. 3 chances to make a pass. And no one does it in the hairpin, which is one of the good spots. And it's the double apex left now towards the start-finish line. This will be the end of the race. Stuart Adcock put it on pole with a 1 minute 44.969. And by the looks of things, he might have the opportunity, but it'll be a photo finish as here comes Antonides, and it was Adcock. Adcock had it, I think.
No, this is the line right there.
There we go. That was the new line. Yes, Antonides gets it. I thought the start line was the first one, not the second one, so I got that backwards. But Fahim Antonides there just snatches it at the last moment. I thought with the way Adcock dived to the inside, he was trying to make a lunge for the line, but wow, what a finish we saw just there between those guys, as actually Kane Halliburton will finish ahead there of Matt Cox, and well, that actually made the end a little bit more dramatic than we expected, Connery.
Yeah, very dramatic finish to the final round of the season here for this season of Monday Night Skippys. Fahim Antonides will take away the race win, but the gap was 33 hundredths of a second back to Stuart Adcock, and they were, of course, 3 wide with Ben Daniels getting himself onto the podium, which is a great result for him as well.
Certainly was, and well, hopefully we will get a chance to talk to some of those guys after the race, but first up, post-race results. Coming home with the win tonight, Fahim Antonides there with the final round under his belt. Joining on the podium, Stuart Adcock and Ben Daniels. 4th place, Clark Williams and Kane Halliburton with Matt Cox, Anthony Catt, Nick Sigley, Jack Hobbs. Simon Maltby holds on for a top 10 finish in 10th. Here's Bod Boland, Adrian Bidewell, James Child, Chris Malcolm, Darrell Taylor in 15th place. Jeff Killick, Barry West, Seymour Harding, Nicholas Vaughan Roberts, and John McGovern in 20th. Rest of those results on your screen as well. We're going to go to a very brief commercial break after this, and we'll be back, of course, with the best part of Monday Night Skippys. It's the post-race show, so stick around. We'll join you in just a few moments' time.
chair of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMary at the line.
Welcome back to Monday Night Skippies and the post-race show here after the final round, number 12 on this season. What you just saw there in the adverts is a bunch of the new stuff coming to iRacing tomorrow. So yes, make sure you log in tomorrow after the update, of course, and get all the new stuff, all the shiny. There is so much coming in tomorrow's build. It's like second Christmas, or third. I forget which one we're on now. Either way, moving on, we have redemption for one man here tonight. After last night's disappointment, of course, in the 2K World Cup presented by DES Simulations, Fahim Antonides, you were ripped of your chance last night, but tonight you come home in victory lane.
Yeah, it was a real disappointment yesterday. Actually, I qualified really well, and I had the pace to be there or thereabouts. And the thing about this race is that you only have to be in the top 5 to have a shout of winning, because it is a bit of a lottery, and it's who crosses the line and gets the best draft at the end. And tonight it happened to be me. But I'd like to congratulate that young man, Bill Fraser, for mounting a fantastic season. He's a worthy champion. I'm sure we'll see him winning the championship a few more times. And I hope to be able to challenge him next season. I've been kind of blighted with electromagnetic interference problems and internet problems, but it's all sorted. So hopefully I'll have a full season next season and really look forward to it.
Well, hopefully you will, and otherwise fantastic for him from you, and we look forward to seeing great things next season. Of course, better luck in the 2K World Cup, of course, for you.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.
Thanks for joining us. Fahim Antonides came home today with a win, and of course we don't have Bill Fraser to talk to, the championship winner, but we have the next best thing. We have Barry West, who's joining us here today. And Barry, you came home today with a pretty good result in tonight's one, 17th place, and you actually finished. So, good result?
Yeah, last week and this week, so good result, yeah. But just half an hour's practice seems to pay off. I thought these guys were doing it all week, and I just
Who'd have thought it? Practicing helps.
Yeah, I was just patient first half of the race, and things open for me. I had the guys in front of fighting, bided my time, and just it when it came.
And it certainly did.
Lost the pace a bit, but congratulations to Bill. Great campaign, as Fahim said, and I'm sure it's going to be really next season.
Certainly will be, of course. And well, congratulations to you, of course. 17th place, top 20 results in the final race. And the gentleman who didn't get a top 20, what happened, Mr. Thurston? You started well, and you came home in 34th. Do describe the donk.
I'm not sure I can in polite company, can I? It was I was a bit unlucky. Yeah, I don't know. It was an okay first lap. I think I lost the spot, gained the spot, something like that. But we came around the last one. I don't know who span off over to the left. It was possibly Peter. But they hit the wall and bounced off. There was not a lot they could do about it. And caused a conflagration, shall we say. I thought it was okay. I eased off and they flew in front of me. I swerved to the left. Unfortunately, Chris Malcolm was right behind me. He swerved left as well, but I lifted off more than him, and he basically just sort of punted me off to the right. I mean, it's one of those situations where everybody's going everywhere. It's chaos. It's the luck of the draw. I was unlucky. After that, I took the toe, which seemed to last forever, and put me like 40 seconds behind the next car. But I stuck at it and started to eat into that a bit, and they started to make mistakes. And then other people were making mistakes coming out the pits, and Tim came out. I was catching Tim, and it was I think great. I had a little battle with Tim. Then I come around the final corner when I'm about 2 seconds off, basically, and he's clearly pushing to try and keep ahead of me, and he span out. So then I thought, right, okay, I'm determined to get 34th. So I see Glenn Hardwick, he was about sort of 5 seconds ahead at that one, and I was pulling the time in. I was just a second and a half off him at the end. So you just got to push yourself. Given you got to race who you can race. So it's still good fun, even when you're having the bad luck and all that. But it's not been my luckiest season. When I've driven well, and I found the pace this week. I found my old force feedback settings before I rebuilt the computer, and suddenly my old pace was back. So that pleases me.
Useful. Very useful indeed. Well, not the best race to end the season on, but with some drop weeks, you'll probably get a better result of the championship rather than the 14th place you're currently in. So we'll hope to see where you finish in that one, Paul. But any final thoughts before we wrap up the season? Any news for week 13?
Well, seeing that's my fourth drop school, I don't think it'll make any difference. No, just the same news as before, really. I mean, next weekend, I'll put out a post. So in the next day or so, we'll go for the Home International Championship. I think just on the weekend. It's a bit of fun. Last time we overcomplicated that. I think we did regions and everything. We had Cornwall and various other things. We just do countries. I'll figure out a scoring scheme. It doesn't matter who wins anyway, as long as it's us.
Were you counting Cornwall? Huh?
Don't you knock Cornwall?
Were you not Cornwall before you want to?
Even though they gave the prize to an American with pineapple, it's not on, not Cornish.
I have to get Ian Cornish in for that one, even though it's not from Cornwall.
It's terrible. Devon, so I can get away with it a little bit. Baz has got a better West Country accent than me, haven't you, Baz?
You leave Oi out of it.
Oh my god, this is getting so provincial, it hurts. Well, folks, on that note, before they start bringing out their pitchforks and singing I've Got a Brand New Combine Harvester, we're going to get off for tonight. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching. This has been my Nerd Skippys. We're not here next week, but we'll be back in 2 weeks' time for the start of another season, and who knows what's going to happen. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you then. Bye.
Monday Night Skippies has been brought to you by Isma Valaus, Track Cams for Gourmets. Check him out, trackcams22.com. Andreas Warner and One Design for overlay design. Simon Grossman, Appgeneer.in for overlay animation. And Nick Thiston for RaceSpotTV, live timing and scoring.